It's 10 trivia questions on crimes and criminals for Patreon subscriber Lauren Glassman. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. Thanks for checking out the show, and thanks for being a Patreon subscriber like my good friend Lauren Glassman. Lauren donates $5 a month or more on the Patreon page and gets to pick a topic that I do for her every single month. I have this big Excel sheet you can fill in for the whole year, and I'm catching up on some of those from 2023 second half. And Lauren Glassman wanted a episode on crime and criminals. Now, as far as I know, I'm not a criminal, but I did get arrested one time when I was, I think, 17 with all my friends, and I think I was the only one who was 17 at the time. I think everybody else was 16, so they let me go, but everybody else's parents had to pick them up. And we were driving around and throwing stuff out of cars, water balloons, things like that. I think we took a TV from the front of their house, like they were throwing out, and then we were going to throw it off of like a cliff or something. It was one of those crazy teenager things you do. Luckily, it's not on my record, but hey, it's on the public record now since I've told all the listeners of this show about my exploits in the past. But there you go. That's as crazy as I've gotten. Hopefully, your rap sheet is not even as crazy as that. But thanks for listening to the show today. If you have a good time listening, make sure to tell a friend about the show and leave an iTunes review, Apple Podcasts app, in-app review. You can leave a 5-star if you dig it, and you can write some words about what you like about the show. We are going to dive into crimes and criminals of much higher problems than mine in just a second. Before we get there, we've got our categories warm-up game. The letter is S. We have words associated with money, ice cream flavors, and items in a refrigerator. Words associated with money, ice cream flavors, and items in a refrigerator. Listen for mine at the end of the episode, along with a fun fact of the day. We're warmed up, we're ready, and we're diving into crime and criminal trivia. Here we go. It's a batch of trivia questions on crimes and criminals. I will describe the perpetrator and what they did, and you tell me who we're talking about. This is for Lauren Glassman. Number 1, serial polygamist responsible for the Brides in the Bath murders. Number 1, serial polygamist responsible for the Brides in the Bath murders. Number 2, used arsenic to kill as many as 30 people, usually for money. Number 2, used arsenic to kill as many as 30 people, usually for money. Number 3, dubbed the Yorkshire Ripper. Dubbed the Yorkshire Ripper. Number 4, famous for shooting her lover and the last woman to be hanged in England. Number 4, shot her lover and last woman to be hanged in England. Number 5, the name given to the perpetrator of the most famous unsolved skyjacking in history. Number 5, the name given to the perpetrator of the most famous unsolved skyjacking in history. Number 6, styling himself as a businessman, he swindled millions of dollars from his investors with a plan that involved redeeming postal reply coupons from other countries for postage stamps in the U.S. Number 6, styling himself as a businessman, he swindled millions of dollars from his investors with a plan that involved redeeming postal reply coupons from other countries for postage stamps in the U.S. Number 7, he and his gang were believed to have stolen approximately $200,000, but were nevertheless admired in their home state of Missouri, mostly because of their support for the Confederacy during the American Civil War. Number 7, he and his gang were believed to have stolen approximately $200,000, but were nevertheless admired in their home state of Missouri because of their support for the Confederacy during the American Civil War. Number 8, nicknamed Whitey by the local constabulary because of his light blonde hair, he eventually moved up in the underworld, becoming the boss of Boston's Winter Hill Gang. Number 8, nicknamed Whitey by the local constabulary because of his light blonde hair, he eventually moved up in the underworld, becoming the boss of Boston's Winter Hill Gang. Number 9, he killed Gianni Versace in the 1990s. Number 9, he killed Gianni Versace in the 90s. Number 10, he shot and killed John Lennon and revealed later that he had other celebrities on his list like Johnny Carson and Elizabeth Taylor. Number 10, he shot and killed John Lennon. And number 11, crimes and criminals for 2 bonus points. He died in prison in 2019 from an alleged suicide and was linked to many crimes on an island. Number 11, he died in prison in 2019 from an alleged suicide and was linked to many crimes on an island. Those are all of your trivia questions for crimes and criminals. We'll be right back with the answers after this. We are back with the answers to crimes and criminals. Let's see how you did with this rap sheet. Number 1, serial polygamist responsible for the Brides in the Bath murders was George Joseph Smith. George Joseph Smith. Number 2, used arsenic to kill as many as 30 people, usually for money, Mary Ann Cotton. Mary Ann Cotton. Number 3, dubbed the Yorkshire Ripper, Peter Sutcliffe. Peter Sutcliffe. Number 4, shot her lover and last woman to be hanged in England, Ruth Ellis. Ruth Ellis. Number 5, the name given to the perpetrator of the most famous unsolved skyjacking in history, D.B. Cooper. D.B. Cooper. Number 6, styling himself as a businessman, he swindled people with his postage scheme. That was Charles Ponzi, originator of the Ponzi scheme. Number 7, he and his gang were believed to have stolen about $200,000 in their existence, Jesse James. Jesse James. Number 8, nicknamed Whitey by the locals because of his light blonde hair, James Bulger. James Whitey Bulger. Number 9, he killed Gianni Versace in the 90s, Andrew Cunanan. Andrew Cunanan. Number 10, he shot and killed John Lennon and revealed later he had other celebrities on his list like Johnny Carson and Elizabeth Taylor, Mark Chapman. Mark Chapman. And number 11, he died in prison in 2019 from an alleged suicide and was linked to many crimes on an island, Jeffrey Epstein, whose name is in the news a lot lately for that Epstein list. But there you have it. That is Crimes and Criminals for my friend Lauren Glassman. Lauren, I hope you had a good time playing along. If you want to be like Lauren and support the show every month, go to patreon.com/trivia with buds, see all the cool rewards you can get, and be part of the Patreon community. It's linked in the show notes, patreon.com/trivia with buds. We have your fact of the day for you today. That fact of the day is about Toni Basil, the singer. Toni Basil was 38 years old when she recorded Mickey, so not a youngster, but my exact age right now. That'd be like if I came out with a hit pop song right now, which I'm working on. It's about stealing TVs and throwing water balloons when you're about 17 years old. But I'm writing it 17 plus years later, about 20 years later, about 21 years later to be exact. We have your letter here. S, words associated with money. How about the word spend? Ice cream flavors. How about spumoni? And items in a refrigerator. How about spam? I went SP with all 3. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling a friend, and we'll see you next time for more trivia with Buds. Cheers.